One of the things that I enjoy, one of the things that I do thoroughly love, is when people go so woke that they just horseshoe into being racist. BBC diversity chief says Idris Elba's TV detective Luther isn't black enough to be real. I mean, I've seen Idris Elba, he's pretty black. I'm certain, I don't know, maybe something wrong with my eyes, but I'm fairly certain, 99% certain, because you always leave that little 1% just in case, 99% certain that Idris Elba is a black man. I'm pretty sure. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure. Because he doesn't have any black friends and doesn't eat any Caribbean food. Miranda Whalen said the hit BBC crime drama was only superficially diverse. Isn't everything nowadays? It's like whenever Netflix buys the rights to some kind of TV show, one of the side characters, Bravo 6, going gay. Bosses are now looking to portray minority groups in a more convincing way. What is a convincing way to portray minority groups? I thought that they would just be hanging around like normal everyday people doing what everyday people do. Maybe not in Luther, like not everyone has his job, but you get what I mean. What is a convincing way to portray minority groups? Apparently it's having black friends and eating Caribbean food. The BBC will spend 100 million of content budget on diverse programming over 3 years. Why does it cost extra? I mean, you need to hire people and hire actors anyway. Why does it cost extra to hire a diverse cast? Just pay the same amount of money that you were before, but this time just hire more diverse people. I mean, if anything, you could hire women all the time, because apparently they get paid less. The BBC's diversity chief has claimed Idris Elba's TV detective Luther isn't black enough to be real because he doesn't have any black friends and doesn't eat any Caribbean food. Miranda Whalen said the hit crime drama, which won plaudits for having a strong black lead character, was only superficially diverse, and that corporation bosses are now looking to portray minority groups in a more convincing and rounded way. Now, this is the part that I have a problem with, right? I want to know what is a convincing way to portray minorities. In this case, it seems your problem was he doesn't have any black friends and doesn't eat any Caribbean food. So it's because he wasn't living up to a racial stereotype. So the way to accurately portray minority groups is to stereotype them, apparently. You've went so woke that you've doubled right back round and being racist. Right, the funny thing, Idris Elba's parents aren't Caribbean. They're from Africa. His mother's from Sierra Leone, and I forget where his dad's from, but he's got African parents. Idris Elba's not Caribbean. He's not. So why would he eat Caribbean food? I mean, he could eat African food, which is nothing. but the man's quite hench. Man's quite hench. He clearly gets his protein. But yeah, you've doubled right back round and basically went and said, so why not have him eating fried chicken and watermelon? Apparently that's what black people do. I heard it. I seen it on the TV. I seen it on 4chan. Elba, who first made his name across the Atlantic starring as Stringer Bell in The Wire, cemented his status as a worldwide star by picking up a Golden Globe, among other gongs, for his depiction of the obsessive John Luther between 2010 and 2019. However, Miss Whalen told the MIT Letters conference this week that to achieve true representation, TV chiefs must ensure black characters have an environment and culture built around them that is completely reflective of their background. Like, I've only seen like one episode of Luther. It's not really for me. It didn't really draw me in. But I'm sorry, is he acting too white? Is he a detective with a smart suit and he's well groomed and probably earns a really good paycheck? Sorry, is that not normal for a black guy? Is that strange? Is it strange for a black man to be really good at his job and be smartly dressed and well groomed and making a lot of money? To me, I think that's pretty normal. I think that's pretty normal. Apparently, you have a problem with it, though. Jesus. Is that Miranda? It makes sense now. Wait a minute, no, it doesn't make sense. So she's... Is Miranda a black woman then? Miranda, you're a fucking idiot. You're literally perpetuating stereotypes about yourself. Right, I don't see... Who looks at a smartly dressed, well-groomed black guy and then goes, that's not normal? Like, who does that? Who does that? I mean, see if you were some, like, white 20-something idiot fresh out of university with your head still filled up with all that garbage, then I would have went, well, of course, you've heavily drank the Kool-Aid. Miranda, as a black woman, you should know better. As a black woman, you should know better. That's not racist. But, like, yeah, that's stupid. Shut up, Miranda. She said when Luther first came out, everybody loved the fact that Idris Elba was in there, a really strong black character lead. Like, I'll admit, Idris Elba is woke. Although, not fully woke, but a little bit woke himself. He likes a wee virtue signal now and again. But he's a good actor, and I really enjoy him. Like, the Beasts of No Nation. Beasts of No Nation is a fantastic movie, and Idris Elba absolutely kills that role. And I also really liked him as well in Rock and Roller. He was good in Rock and Roller as well. And also when it was getting teased that there was a chance that he could be the next James Bond, I was actually excited. I was actually excited for it. And people fucking kicked off, black man, like, no, James Bond isn't like a person. James Bond 007 is a title. That's the way the series works. That's why Q&M and all the others stayed the same, but James Bond changed. You know, it's basically, you know, the mantle gets picked up by the next person. I mean, and I think Idris Elba, very smart, well-spoken. I think he would have made a great James Bond. I know he played a villain in one of the movies, though, so... so that kind of got ruined. But whatever. We all fell in love with him, who didn't, right? I apologise. But after you got into about the second series, you're kind of like, okay, he doesn't have any black friends, he doesn't eat any Caribbean food, this doesn't feel authentic. Oh, sorry, did he order a cheeseburger instead? Like, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? Like, whenever I watch, like, any type of TV show and, like, a Japanese guy goes into a restaurant and orders the spaghetti carbonara, and I'm like, didn't order sushi, immersion ruined, terrible show, 1 out of 10, 1% on Rotten Tomatoes, crap, terrible, switch it off. I don't care. That, what I think to be annoyed about. Casting more black directors was only part of the solution, she added, but Luther's creator and writer Neil Cross expressed surprise, insisting that Idris Elba only took the role in the first place because race was not considered important to the character. Yes, that's lovely. Just make a good show. That is the way you're supposed to do it. Like, what was it? Craig Charles of Red Dwarf. There was a quote, I'm going to butcher the quote, but it was just a phenomenal quote. He says the Red Dwarf was revolutionary not just because the cast was diverse, but because nobody felt the need to point it out, which was true. And Red Dwarf is phenomenal show. Red Dwarf was a phenomenal show, and Lister and Kat were, let's face it, they were the best characters. Kat had some of the best one-liners in the entire thing. Red Dwarf was a phenomenal show, diverse cast. It had a black man. It had a mixed race gentleman, and it had a hologram and a cyborg. So there was a hologram and cyborg representation in there as well as alien races that we haven't even heard of yet, right? And that's what made it good. Like, see when it comes to shows, stop injecting race into absolutely everything that you see. It's annoying, it's tiresome. I don't want to think about race. I don't care about race. I just want to watch a good TV show, right? I will admit, I'm not saying that Luther's bad because I only watched one episode and it just wasn't for me. I mean, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Maybe I'll give it another chance. But that's just poetry, music to my ears. Nobody cares. Mr. Cross, who is white, said, I have no knowledge or expertise or right to try to tackle in some way the experience of being a black man in modern Britain. It would have been an act of tremendous arrogance for me to try to write a black character. We would have ended up with a slightly embarrassed, ignorant, middle-class white writer's idea of a black character. You cuck. Shut up. Doesn't matter, just write a good character. Write a good character. The corporation also formally defended the character, insisting it was tremendously proud after seeing the show attracting audiences of 10 million viewers and being sold to 200 territories around the globe. So you made a good show. That's fine. I don't watch it, so I don't think race is an issue. Like, that's the thing. See if the show just so happens to have a black lead. Like, I don't care. I'll watch it. Like, one of my used to be my favourite franchise, Watch Dogs. I loved Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs 1 was okay, still a good game. Watch Dogs 2 was absolutely brilliant. The main character, Marcus, was black, but the fact that he was black was never made a point at all. It was never even brought up or mentioned. And the reason that I really liked Marcus is because from the get-go, the government trumped up a bunch of false charges and fakery about him to try and litigate him and criminalise him and ruin his life, and I heavily related to that. So I enjoyed him as a character, and his race was never a factor, never a mention. Great game, fantastic story. And then Watch Dogs Legion came along and completely ruined everything. The franchise is dead now. Watch Dogs 2 had a fantastic, amazing, diverse cast of characters that you actually cared about, and then Watch Dogs Legion was like, here's a bunch of random dice roll characters that were completely made with RNG and everything. I had a guy in my team who was a little old Indian man that looked like he was in his 80s, but whenever he talks, he's like, oi, governor, you want to overthrow the government, innit? Yeah, like, shut up. Watch Dogs. How did I get on to Watch Dogs Legion after this? I know, franchise killer, trash game. Yeah, read that part. It was last year that BBC bosses discussed diversity in every conversation. Jesus Christ, what a miserable existence. About new programmes, and the issue is non-negotiable. It's abysmal, miserable existence. I think this is just going to go into the crap alongside it. Right, but anyway, you have got mad about a character not falling into a stereotype. Like, what was the detective acting too white for you? Didn't order Caribbean food. Shut up. Doesn't have any black friends. Well, so what? Maybe he's not met any black people that he didn't really like click with. Who cares? An unbelievable black character. In fact, in Scotland, all the black people here only have white friends because Scotland has about 7 black people. So, and it's very hard for them to find each other. So, to be honest, over here, that's very normal. But yeah, what an absolute non-issue. And you've ended up doubling around and became racist in the process. Like, if Luther's a good show, Luther's a good show. Leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But just, yeah, see, saying like, this black man is unbelievable because he's not eating Caribbean food. Yeah, that's a stereotype, and you are a racist for saying that.